Beck, you talking? You talking for Jen? Yeah. Okay. Good morning and welcome to General Finance for March 2nd, 2026. Let's go to the agenda. Number 1, attendance roll call. Go ahead.
Good morning, Amos Key Jr.
Audrey Paulus Bombery.
Good morning, Dean Hill.
Good morning, Hazel Johnson. Melba Thomas.
Elena Venevri.
Cynthia Jameson.
I'm here, Greg Fraser.
And I know Carrie will be late today. And Dale will be late today. Yep, and I'm not sure where the rest are. Let's go to number 2, identification of media. Let's go to number 3, any additions or deletions? If not, can I have a mover? Moved by Audrey, second by Melba. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none? Carried. Let's go to number 4, adoption of the general finance minutes for February 2nd. Moved by Elena, seconder. Second by Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none? Carried. There's no delegations for number 5. Number 6, recommendation from Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee. So this one's moved by Hazel Johnson and second by Carrie Bomberry that the Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee recommends that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve the following. Whereas the Ministry of Transportation Ontario provides a First Nations roads program allocation in the amount of $587,180 as a contribution to the Six Nations of the Grand River Elected Council's expenses related to road and bridge maintenance during a calendar year. Whereas a summary of the expenses supported by a long-form band council resolution is a reporting requirement to receive these funds. Therefore, be resolved that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve the 2025 petition for the Ministry of Transportation Ontario's First Nations Road Program allocation in the amount of $587,180 from the Ministry of Transportation Ontario for payment of subsidy under the Public Transportation and Highway Improvement Act for expenditures made in 2025 in the amount of $2,220,148. Approve and authorize the appropriate signatures. So it's been moved and seconded. I need another seconder since Carrie's not here. So it's been moved by Hazel, second by Dale. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Let's go to recommendation 6.2. It was moved by Elena Venevri and second by Hazel Johnson that the Built Environment, Climate Adaptation, Lands and Membership Committee recommends that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th Elected Council approve the following. Whereas the Six Nations Public Works Department maintains the sidewalks within the village of Schwiegen. Whereas the existing 2008 McLean MV tractor that the public work uses to maintain these sidewalks in the winter season is in need of major repairs, and the public works recommends replacing it. Whereas the Six Nations Finance Department has asked Public Works to spend unspent minor capital funding from fiscal year 2024 to 2025 that was allocated to administration for the replacement of sidewalks around their building. Whereas practice has been that if we reallocate minor capital dollars, we need a band council resolution as Six Nations of the Grand River elected council approved the original list of projects. Therefore, it be resolved that the Six Nations of the Grand River 59th elected council approve the reallocate $105,000 of 2024-2025 minor capital funds from the administration sidewalks to the purchase of a sidewalk cleaner sweeper for public works. So it's been moved and seconded. Any questions or comments? If not, all in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Six Nations of the Grand River 59th elected council approved to waive second reading on 6-1 and 6-2. Moved by Dale, second by Hazel. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none, carried. Let's go to number 7. Approve extension of comprehensive insurance with Grand River Insurance 1 year. Recommendation 7-1. You got that one, Beck?
Okay, we received 3 amendments to
Okay,
our-
I think, so just the amendments one, so let's go down to, I guess there's a new agenda. So 7, for the new amendments, the IS Comprehensive Funding Agreement, amendment number 188, 189, and 190. Yep, go ahead, Beck.
The 3 amendments have been received, and the recommendation is whereas Six Nations of the Grand River elected council has entered into a 5-year comprehensive funding agreement with Indigenous Services Canada, and whereas CFA amendments 88, 89, and 90 have been received for council approval and signatures. Therefore, be it resolved that Six Nations of the Grand River 59th elected council approve and sign the following comprehensive funding agreement amendments number 188, 189, and 90 for the fiscal year 25-26 between His Majesty the King and Right of Canada as represented by the Minister of Indigenous Services and the Six Nations of the Grand River. The amendment includes additional funding for the following programs and departments. Amendment number 88 is for $2,188,812, which is for mental wellness from the Jordan's Principal, and it's 3-year funding. For 25-26, $729,604. For the 26-27 year, $729,604, and for the 27-28 years, $729,604. Amendment 189 is for fire prevention and education in the amount of $40,000. And Amendment 190 includes funding for healthy child development, the midwifery. It's one-time funding for $50,000 and $325,299.23 for First Nations representative services from Jordan's Principal, for a total of $375,299.23.
Okay, is there a mover for this? For these amendments? Go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah, I don't know if you would know this, Becky, but for the Jordan's Principal 25-26, the 729,604, it's Amendment 188. If I remember correctly, I think we were informed that we didn't receive that we hadn't received that allocation yet, and I believe council then authorized to go ahead and spend on the matters that met the eligibility criteria. Does this recoup whatever we spent in that fiscal?
Go ahead, Deb.
It'll recoup some, but not all.
How much are we short?
I'd have to go back to Jennifer with that, but it's not going to cover everything. We know that.
Okay, is there a mover to this recommendation? Moved by Amos, second by Audrey. Question? Go ahead, Amos.
I'll move, but I have a question. Like, when ISK comes to us, did they just say this is what you're going to get, or do we negotiate based on our population, et cetera? Because when I look at a couple of these years, they're the same. There's no escalators in there, accelerators, and nothing in there. Indexing, it looks like you just hit this is what you're going to get, and that's it. So can somebody explain
Go
that?
ahead, Deb.
You're right, Amos. There is very little increases from ISK. You would have seen that also in the briefing note from Mike regarding the issues he's facing. We do try to negotiate, but when you're constantly met with ISK telling you there's no funding for that, or this is your allocation based on their formula, this is where we need political advocacy. We need people to be going to Ottawa or bringing ISK here to listen to our leadership. It's difficult as, front line to be having those discussions because we're meeting with technicians as well. They make no promises. And ISK likes to send technicians to meetings because they can't commit to anything. We need to be talking to the ministers and letting them know what our position is. But that is not always guaranteed either, but I think we need to keep doing that.
Thank you.
Yep, go ahead, Audrey.
Yeah, just to follow up on that, Deb, so are we going to get that, all the background paperwork for that, so that political leadership can go to bat for this George principle? Wonderful. And the second was, we used to, on education, have that clarified as the federal schools. So I see federal schools is not there, so can we put federal schools after education in this, from here on in, because that's where it's coming from, right? That's where it goes to, where it might go. It's a federal school funding, right? Okay, thank you.
So I think what was discussed, I think also too, in your portfolios, in your portfolios, that you need the political work to start bringing up these political and a plan for us to do this work and go get for sure more money instead of the standstill that we get. Go ahead, Deb.
I just wanted to add too, if you'll recall in previous things that I've brought forward, when ISK does their cutbacks or their freezing of funds, they're also delivering decisions that they've made at their level regarding the operations at the First Nations level. So an example of that with Jordan's principle is we can no longer have full-time employees. We have to hire casual or part-time employees with no benefits. And it's very difficult to hire people who are looking for that benefit piece. They are young people, most of them with families, so benefits is important to them. And I feel like with ISK's decisions to, start dictating how we hire, that goes against our employment policy. We cannot continue to renew somebody's part-time contract. Yet that's what we're being forced to do because they refuse to pay benefits. So all of this is advocacy that we need. First of all, give us the funding that we require as a First Nation of our size to be able to do our jobs, and let us do our work according to our own policies when it comes to employment.
Go ahead, Elena.
I don't know if this issue would fall, which committee this issue would fall under. It probably well-being, but maybe also education. And Audrey's spoken about this before, having an action item list that is ongoing, so we can keep track of these things. I wonder if after every agenda we can have a standing item that is allocating these issues that admin is identifying as needing political advocacy identified on the agenda, so it's identified on the minutes, so it follows through to committee, so we're not losing track of any of these things.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea on all committees for sure. what's political. Go ahead, Deb. Did you need anything?
I just wanted to add it, while Jordan's principle is specifically regarding, well-being, we're seeing the same thing with education. We're seeing the same thing with public works. So it's across the board wherever ISK is involved.
Okay, go ahead, Helen.
It's probably because they're getting rid of us. So I know they're going to be making a whole lot of more cuts, and I know they're really tackling land. They're getting rid of their land department, and they're working on getting rid of the other departments. And what I'm sitting here hearing is, we need to go to Ottawa about the money, like Amos raised. We need to go to Ottawa about the agreements where they're kind of telling us how we can hire people. We need to go to Ottawa for the second generation. We need to go to Ottawa for the ATR. I'm sitting here thinking about all the things we should be going to Ottawa for, but we're not even going to Ottawa. We haven't been there, I don't know how long. And I'm also here, when I was out to the Calgary at the Natural Resources, that the ministers aren't even meeting with the AFN. They're not meeting with anyone. Minister Gomasti, she won't meet with anyone. So there's something going on there. I don't know what. Because they raised that. A lot of different people raised it at the conference that she won't meet with nobody. And Cindy raised it that she won't even meet with the AFN. So I don't know what's going on, but I think it's probably got a lot to do with getting rid of everything. Getting rid of us, I guess if you want to put it that way. So yeah, we need to start. These are political things as far as I'm concerned. I don't think they belong with committee. These are political. But we have never sat down and developed a political plan as to what we were going to do politically. So we're not really doing anything. Those are my comments.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Do we waive second reading on that one? Moved by Amos, second by Audrey. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Go ahead, Hazel.
Since we've already had a little bit of discussion on the fact that we should be going to Ottawa to get money, because if we don't do anything, we're just gonna continue to have our staff trying to do things, and we got Ottawa replacing us as far as who the boss is. They're just taking away everything that belongs to Six Nation. I think we really need to consider and getting involved in doing a visit to Ottawa to meet with those ministers. We went before and we got money, so I think we can do it again. Thanks.
Go ahead, Amos.
Yeah, our concern, our conversations that we just had, are they being recorded? Like, my concern is that it looks like the items that are listed here don't have accelerators, escalators, or not, they're not indexed. That's my concern. You responded, Deb, so I was wondering whether, are we capturing that in our minutes, that there is concern from the council with some of these formulas? Like, even just a point, I don't know. Can we add that to our minutes? Just so it kind of directs us to have this meeting where we're going to look at negotiating. Without negotiations, right? We just receive the money. We don't negotiate them. And there's no evidence of escalators, accelerators, and indexing. It's just amount of money. That's what you're going to get, and that's what we have to live with, I guess. So that's my concern. My question is of that. Whether we deal with it at finance or maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a state we talk about as well. I don't know. I just wanted to make sure we capture it in our minutes if we can, all the comments that we've just made with our concerns about ISK, right?
Go ahead, Deb.
I think the other thing that we're missing at a department level is somebody who's versed with the political aspect of writing briefing notes. The example I'm going to give you is and I don't mean to be biased coming from well-being, but Abigail Hill. Whenever we do a briefing note, she is required to be a part of that, to put that advocacy work into it. And I think I've said this before, you know, she identifies the ministry, the department within governments that need to be identified as contributing to the issue. She researches the platform, the promises that have been made, and she actually inserts that into the briefing notes. I feel like a lot of the departments don't have that. I know that when it came to the water and wastewater situation that Mike was facing, I asked Abigail to work with him to help research the political nature of what needs to happen in that area. And she did work with Mike. She offered input into the briefing note, but I think we often overlook that part in briefing notes. Even I do that. I'm looking at the issue, I'm looking at the past, the current, and the recommendation. And I'm not looking at the political advocacy. And I think we need to start focusing on that more and capturing that, because there's commonalities through a lot of those briefing notes of where the problem areas are, but we're missing it. So, you know, I think we can definitely catalog or, you know, look at this a little bit closer, Amos, to capture where are the problematic areas. And I think this morning's discussion, there's a lot of problematic areas when it comes to ISK. And I think if we could summarize that through the briefing notes and identify for you, where do we need to target?
Go ahead, Elena, then Cynthia.
Yeah, I think adding that item onto the end of the agendas might rectify this. I realize what Helen is saying, that it's the full table that needs to be going to Ottawa to do this advocacy, but you mentioned planning, what exactly needs to go into it and what exactly are we asking for. That needs to be, I think, a committee discussion, because it would get lost at the bigger table. So if each committee, and that is what I understand that we're responsible for, is the political advocacy. So if we can identify those things on the end of every agenda, the secretaries for each committee will pull from the minutes and make sure that they're accounted for at the next appropriate committee meeting.
Yeah, I just asked Tia to make sure to let them know that that'll be at the end of all the committee meetings. Well, yeah, go ahead, Cynthia.
Yeah. I was just gonna, I understood that besides It's Lucky the Wellness has Abigail, but doesn't that Claire, shouldn't Claire be doing that? I thought she was the political advisor.
Yep, she does that, but it's like what Elena said, it's when things are brought up from the committees to be able to then we can start doing a plan if it's to Ottawa or whatever. It just helps move it.
Just for example, it's already been brought today, the Jordan's principle. Couldn't she, it's already identified, couldn't she work on that? Like, it has been here to council, so I would hope she could work on that.
But I think that so when we go to Roma and all those other things, that's when we do talk about Jordan's principle or any of the issues that are here, and any time that we are able to get a minister, that we're able to bring up those issues. Go ahead, Linda.
Yes, thanks, and good morning, Chief and Council. I just wanted to, I guess, raise the fact that through the strategic planning process, you know, there is an identified need for an advocacy strategy. And I know from Chief's office, as we're discussing this morning, it's been difficult to get what the political needs are, identification of the political needs from committees and or the administration. So just in the last couple of weeks, to try and trial the process, if you will, I developed a template that I shared with Deb so that it can go out. What is the issue? What is the bill? Just give us 2-page snippet of what does the change that is coming down the pipe, or what is impacting you today that is either taxing your resources or is going to change the way we do business. So we're starting to formulate some of those pieces so that we can get them on a more timely basis. But I just wanted to share that because a lot of the things that we're speaking about this morning are in the strategic plan. And Chief's office, we had a little planning session last fall, around late November, and we do recognize we have in our own our own work plan that we're looking at developing a legislative monitoring template as well, along with this template to get more timely information to us for advocacy. So I just wanted to share. Thank you.
Go ahead, Leslie.
Yeah, I recognize that the needs at this table are great, and when we encounter Chief with the government of Canada, how much time do they reasonably give when they're interfacing with you?
Well, at Roma, you're allowed 15 minutes. So you have 15 minutes to tell them your issue, and then after 10 minutes, you get a knock, and then that's it. When we get a minister, it's usually about a half hour at the most, maybe 45 minutes. Yeah. Anything else, Linda, on that one?
No, and I guess with the provincial platforms that we go to, such as Roma or AMO, which is the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, or the Rural Association of Municipalities of Ontario, it is very structured. But we're not limited to those. When we go to those particular functions with provincial ministers, we're really we're raising an issue, and we're asking for a contact so that when we come back, we can continue those conversations. So that's just the initial, get us in the door, get us a contact, and then we continue our conversations. Deb can attest with the last provincial delegation that attended in January. We can't even keep up with how quick Ontario reaches out to us to further the conversation, because they do want to help. And then I guess the last time Chief met with two ministers while they attended AFN, we were able to secure two meetings with both the Minister Alty with CERNAC and Minister Golmasti with ISK. And I think those were closer to 45 minutes or so. But again, the Chief's office, we've had correspondence prior to meeting with the minister. We're sharing with the Chief of Staff so that those 45 minutes or whatever we get, it's not like we're introducing the topic there. They are well aware of the topics when we get there, and they're trying to solution with us. So it's never enough. But I guess on top of it, late last fall, maybe November-ish, early December, we are also looking to do an evaluation of, do we attend Roma? Do we attend AMO? Do we attend COO? Do we continue to attend AFN? What are the real benefits to here versus taking all those resources and going to Ottawa ourselves? So that is still in the works. So, because we do recognize, right, that the need is great, and there's lots of planning to do, and try and bring that cost-benefit analysis back to council to consider.
Okay, thank you. All right, go ahead, Helen.
Yeah, I can appreciate going to Roma and all those different places, but that's not what we need. We need to go to Ottawa. We need to go to the federal government, because that's who we're having issues with. That's where we need to go. So, and then in terms of Linda talking about this plan, whether we're going to have anything to do with Roma and AFN, and I hope council gets to have input in that, because I have a lot of concern with that. But I hope we have input into that plan, because it's affecting us, impacting us in our job. So those are, we got to get political with Ottawa. And as far as I'm concerned, things come here, but we're not listening, I don't think. I mean, how many times has Laura been here talking about the second generation cutoff, and we've done nothing to deal with it? And we need to deal with that, because what the little NHL is doing with that one parent rule, if that starts to come into effect, that's going to be awful for our community. I don't know if you understand the one parent rule, but I'll use my one of my friends that I have as an example. She's her mother's non-native. She's going with a non-native man. She has status through her dad, but if the one parent rule comes in, right now she can't, under the second generation cutoff, she couldn't hand status down to her child if she had one, because she's half and he would be a non-band member. Under the one parent rule, she can hand status down to her child, who would be a quarter. That child can hand status down to his child or her child, who would be nothing. That child can go, it keeps going till there's nothing left of the Indianness. There's nothing left. But they could keep doing it because they're the one parent rule. We don't want that. But I don't think a lot of people realize what it can do, the one parent rule. And that's what the Senate is pushing. And I think they're pushing that because they want to get rid of us. And they are going to do it through the one parent rule. So we really need to be cautious about this. And this is why I'm so, and again, I keep bringing up the fact that we got to go to Ottawa to try and get more money for education, because all the new members are coming on and we have no money for them. If you read the Six Nations Politics graduation book, half of the names I couldn't even pronounce. So they are getting our education money. I mean, justly so, because they are registered, but I mean, they're not sending money for us to all of these new members that they're adding because they discriminated against us. We never discriminated against anybody. The Indian Act did. So we need to be going up for that kind of stuff. But everybody runs out of money. They just come here and council always digs in our forever ever pot of money and give them money, but we don't even try and fix it so they don't have to come to us and ask for money, because education should be getting that money. Post-secondary education. So I don't know, I just see it sometimes. I think people, we identify issues, we identify problems, people come here and say stuff, we're not listening. We're not listening because we're not doing anything when we hear it. So
Leslie?
something needs to be fixed.
Leslie?
I was thinking about Six Nations and our relationship with the Crown and where do we stand. Not how do they view us, but how we view ourselves, how we go forward and we take our stand. It's not just a political stand. We are landowners, we are the stakeholders of Canada. We've sat back a long time. We've let a lot of things go. We let them push and say you can't have this and you can't have that. And work with minimal amounts of money. So yeah, when I hear about going to Ottawa, and I know that this table is more than capable of advocating and reinforcing that relationship, I just hope that we come up with a good plan soon and that we start advocating in that manner.
Hazel?
Yeah, I'm just wondering, can Six Nations, if we monitor our own membership and keep those children that ISK is saying are under the one parent rule, can't we keep them on our membership list so we will always know? Because it's just like, you can kind of view ISK as monitoring some of our children and pointing at them and saying, you don't belong on the list. Who are they? They don't even know us. And here we are. We have a membership list, and we know that those little children, if their parent is Native, why can't they be on the list? It doesn't make sense that we have to always go according to how ISK thinks about us. It should be reversed because I know they're the government and all of that, but I think we need to keep our own regulations for us and keep track of all of our little people who they're trying to put into that category of one parent rule, or yeah, the one parent rule. Thank you.
Okay, I think that's what we'll work on for sure. Tia's got all the concerns and Deb's gonna get a process and we'll go from there. Let's go to this number 9, motion to adjourn to the in camera. Is there a mover? Moved by Hazel. Seconder? Second by Leslie. All in favor? Anybody opposed? See none. Carried. Thank you for joining us today and have a great day.